I'm undertaking something new. I hope you'll join me. I'm making a little series about easy minimalism. And without any further ado, actually, the ado might be that I move that humidifier out of the way because it's so ugly. Let's get into the video. I've got a really great tip to get you started moving toward easy minimalism so you're not faced with a huge clear out in January. This is something small, something really doable that we can get started today. When it comes to minimalism, we're living in such an all or nothing culture that I think it's a real turnoff for a lot of people who think that they need to just compress their life into like a tiny capsule wardrobe and like 12 little items, no pictures on the wall, no art, no nothing. And I'm telling you, it doesn't have to be so severe. We have such a black and white mentality when it comes to these things because I think there's this like aspirational purity that we're aiming for, but it's just not realistic. I think ultra minimalism is viable when you're out of university. You don't own a lot of stuff. You don't have furniture. You don't have kids, their art, their toys, their sports equipment. I could go on. I have a lot of stuff. I'm not a maximalist. I'm not a minimalist, but I do want to give you a couple guidelines for maybe moving forward in the year 2026 with just less of this like product fatigue, less of this like feeling of your things kind of owning you rather than the other way around. And so I want to introduce you into my best method. I don't claim to have invented this. I'm sure that I'd heard it somewhere else or read it somewhere else, and I just have taken it on, and it is very effective. So if you start doing this today, like right now when you watch this video, you can start getting a real foot forward for January. If you're one of these like New Year's resolution people and you think you might be leaning toward like, let's declutter, let's be more minimal this year. So you need this. You need something like this. Okay, maybe not specifically this. This is actually just where I keep my audio equipment for making videos here. You need something suited to the task at hand. And we're gonna do something called the purgatory method. So this would be the perfect size if I were getting rid of or decluttering my makeup, for example. This would be a good size. I think the whole Marie Kondo, who I like, the whole spark joy, is really so easy, so memorable, so black and white, right? Like make a huge pile of stuff and just get rid of it if it doesn't spark joy. Let's be realistic though. What happens is you'll get rid of those things and you'll probably buy more things as soon as you can. So we don't want to do that, right? So what we're going to do is something called the purgatory method. This works if you're trying to thin out your closet. It works if you're trying to thin out your makeup, your skincare, pretty much anything you can think of, the purgatory method will work for you. I can't think of any situation where, I'm sure there are, but I can't think offhand any household situation with smaller goods that it wouldn't work, that you're trying to thin out. So, you don't have to haul everything over to the donation center, Salvation Army, Goodwill, whatever. Put it in purgatory first. I think that this is a really good first step if you're someone who's new to like massive decluttering or new to minimalism. If you have just a tiny bit of storage space, again, if you were doing makeup, I'm sure a lot of it could fit in here or not. I know you're getting boxes, you're getting deliveries this time of year. Use one of those empty Amazon boxes, set it aside, and that's gonna be your purgatory box. And what I want you to do is go around collecting things you're not sure of, you're pretty sure you could part with them, not 100% sure. It could be your kitchen utensils, it could be your collection of lipsticks. I don't know your life, but what I would say is instead of just tossing and rehoming and garbaging everything, put it in purgatory. This is going to give you time to reflect and time to reach back to see if you do need those items, because there's that piece of advice that if you haven't worn clothes in a year, it's time to get rid of it. And that's probably like the most common piece of organizational closet advice going ever. I've been working in lifestyle journalism for decades now. And when I started, that was sort of the key way of looking at how to get rid of stuff. I don't do that. I put my things in purgatory. Sometimes I'm not too sure on like a sweater. I will just put it away for a year. Now, luckily I live in a house where I have a basement and I can store things down there. It's not a big deal for me to have 2 extra sweaters for my winter storage. Many is the year, I'll just put it away for a year. It's just not suiting me. I'm not into it. That's not my vibe. And then, believe it or not, a year later, I'll come back to it and I will be into it. I will. I never thought that that would happen to me. And likewise, honestly, there are a number of outfits I've given up, a number of beautiful coats. Do you remember when people used to wear a lot of Benetton? I had so many beautiful Benetton clothes that I've given away over the years, and I could kick myself. I would love to have those like 90s, early 2000s, super high quality coats back that I had. I had a lot of them. Wool suits, like they would look great now. And of course, I gave them away. If I had used the purgatory method, I might have been a little more thoughtful in giving them away, and I might have held on to them maybe for that extra year. But like, listen, that's me. I'm pretty good at thinning out what I don't want anyway. I have a tendency to go overboard though, so that's why I'm saying the purgatory method works well for me. It might work well for you too if you're that kind of person. So how do we use the purgatory method? Okay, so what you do is you want to put your things away and you want to maybe give yourself a date to revisit it. And if you can be really harsh with yourself at that time. Now's the time when you're trying to part with a thing. Personally, I don't think that's the time to cut the cord, and I think that's where the Marie Kondo method gets it wrong. She wants you to just have this real cut and dry moment where you part with it, stick it in a bag, take it away, never look at it again. I am a bit maybe too sunk cost averse to be able to do that. Like, I can look at a makeup thing like this, and if I see $400 worth of makeup, I just don't really want to toss it. I want to set it aside. I want to think about that a little bit. That's legitimate. It can be wasteful if you think you're just going to be repurchasing something like that again. So put your things in there, thin your stuff out, put it away, put it in a closet, put it in your linen closet, stick it under your bed. You might reach for the things in there, you might not. Put a date on it. Now, if you're using just like a cardboard box, you would write the date maybe on the cardboard box, right? And that's the day you're gonna revisit it. Okay, so I'm filming this in November, so I would say January 5th, I'm gonna revisit it, and I would write January 5th on the top. And by January 5th, if I haven't touched anything and I'm feeling good about it, I will get rid of those items then. And if I'm like, hey, wait, no, I was looking for something like this, or oh, that's where that was, or maybe I'd even taken it out ahead of time, I will do that. You know, it's okay to have a way station approach. It doesn't have to be toss everything. I hate that about our society. Like, you spent money on these things. You don't have to kiss them goodbye this minute. Take a beat, take a minute, take a breath. The purgatory method helps you do all those things. So for something cuter like this, you know, this doesn't have any place I would write on it. So I would just like use a sticky notepad kind of situation. I would write the date and I would just pop it on the top of these things. If you want to do this with your clothing, obviously you need a bigger box, multiple boxes, maybe a bag. It doesn't matter. What you hold it in doesn't really matter. That's beside the point. The idea is to give yourself that bit of breathing room so that you don't have to make this like huge leap into getting rid of things that maybe you liked. So I'll be making a few more videos about easy minimalism. They're out right now, along with this one. I've got like a longer format intro video, so I hope you give that a watch. I've got another one about like skincare and beauty stuff I'm not using. And then of course there's this one about the purgatory method. So I'm thinking about leaning into this subject matter for the upcoming year. If that sounds good to you, drop me a comment down below, even if it's just a quick emoji to say hi. I appreciate you spending your time here with me. We'll see you in the next video.